Folks, we live in a world today where faith is under constant pressure. Challenges are coming in on us from all sides. For families, churches, schools, the workplace, it seems overwhelming and we don't know what to do. Well, I've got some good news for you. We at PJI stand ready to equip you with all of the truth, the tools, and the hope that you need to be able to navigate these challenges with a biblical lens. Bottom line, we stand ready to help you make a difference, to stand firm in your faith, to make an impact, and to be able to live your faith in a world where it's needed now more than ever. Let's run this race together. Hi, I'm Brad Dacus. Welcome to Faith and Law. Without question, folks, we have lots of challenges facing believers today in the United States of America. Whether we're dealing with the workplace, the public square, schools, politics, you name it, we've got challenges and a lot of hostility to people of faith, without question. But we also have a lot of opportunities because the more resistance we have as Christians, the more we stand out if we hold fast to our faith, our beliefs, and the love of Christ. So let's take a look at some of the things that we can do. First, we can become familiar with our rights. It's hard to lay claim to rights if you don't know what they are in the first place, right? So we have a Constitution, we have rights, and we at Pacific Justice Institute have resources to help educate you on your rights, whether it's as a parent, a student in public schools. We've got a great book called Reclaim Your School on how to impact public schools. We've also got resources dealing with your rights in the marketplace, the public square, in the workplace. I mean, we have great resources that will educate you as to what are your constitutional rights. In addition to that, we can also share those rights with others. We can let them know about it. What breaks my heart so much is when I hear of someone whose rights were violated and their opportunities were lost because they didn't know what their rights were to be able to do what was on their heart to do or to convey. So get info more.
It's okay. Start from the top.
Start from the very top?
Not the very top, but
okay.
Get more.
Okay, get you. So get informed. Go to our website, pji.org. pji.org. All these resources are free. And get these resources, get familiar with your rights, and pass that on to others so they can take advantage of it as well. And then I have the next point is, the next point now. Okay, but what are some specific things that you can do to have an impact specifically with public schools? First is you can attend school board meetings. You have a right to not just be able to attend a school board meeting, you have a right to actually approach the school board and have an opportunity to express, maybe it's just 1, 2, or 3 minutes or 5 minutes, depending on how much time they allot, but you have a right to make your case before the school board about any concerns that you have with the school board. Now, you just have to be careful not to be threatening. So you can't say, look, you school board members, if you don't do this, you're just begging, for a bullet in the chest. And I'm telling you, you got to be really careful not to be threatening. But the people we represent, our school board members, go backward or just like, but the parents we represent are parents who have the love of Christ. They also are frustrated and they express it and they're entitled to. Now, during this last administration, we had an FBI and a Department of Justice that we now know has actually targeted more than 24 parent situations who are expressing themselves at school board meetings and attempting to categorize them and investigate them as potential, quote unquote, domestic terrorists. That's right, domestic terrorists. Moms and dads who care about their kids. So that's being changed. We're going to have a new head of the FBI, a new head of the Department of Justice, a new Attorney General. I'm very optimistic that that pressure is going to go by the wayside, but we're still going to have hostile school boards out there doing evil, underhanded things to kids without parents knowing about it, and parents who do find out about it, who want to express their concerns, their anger, and their desire for change. Let us know if you are having any resistance in your right to express yourself peacefully in a non-threatening manner, in a non-personal manner. And I mean, don't get into the personal lives of individual school board members. Keep on topic, not threatening. We stand by, ready to help you. Now, in addition, something else you can do, by the way, is not just attend school board meetings, but actually run for school board. We at Pacific Justice Institute, working with churches in a recent election, we were able, through the churches, to recruit 44 moms and dads out there to run for school board. Guess what? Just over half, 23, won. And who did they defeat? They defeated the puppets of the teachers union. And so we now have these parents who are the true advocates for the kids, who actually care about the kids' education, not their financial and power interests. No, they care about the kids' education. They care about the welfare of the children. They love the kids. They are now filling those positions on school boards. Think about it. Now, my little caveat is this. If you're thinking about running for the school board, you need to understand first, you need to seek the Lord. Seek his direction. Seek his guidance. Don't just say, I'm fed up, I'm going to run for the school board, number one. Number two, get counsel. Maybe talk to your spouse or your pastor, some people around you, to see who are going to really be honest with you, to see whether or not they think that you have what it takes to survive on a school board. It doesn't just take having conviction and beliefs as a Christian, in a biblical worldview and a love for the kids. It also takes a temperament and a thickness of skin, so to speak. I've seen people get elected to school boards and they just totally collapse. They can't take the bombardment and all the evil actions by the other school board members that are puppets of the teachers union. So you want to make sure you've got the thick skin, you've got a strong spine, and you also, of course, have the conviction, and you want to have this solidified through prayer, seeking the Lord, but also the counsel of those around you who really know you, who really care about you. Now, if you get elected to a school board, we at PJI, we've got great model policies that you can recommend one by one with your school board to make a real difference. So this is an exciting opportunity. Collaborate with like-minded. But let's say you don't run for the school board. Something else you can do is you can collaborate with like-minded parents. Get involved. Maybe form a group, if you will, to work together. I've seen it before where a parent talks to a superintendent or a principal about a concern, and the principal or superintendent will say, oh, you're the only parent that's had a problem with this. In reality, we find out that's not the case, and that the principal or the superintendent, that they're lying, flat out lying. This happens. This is one of their ploys. So what you want to do is you want to find other parents with like mind and work with them. So you can't just be brushed aside like this by whether the principal, the teacher, or the superintendent. And also you want to have a positive attitude. Go in with a smile on your face when you're approaching something. Start off with the positive. Hey, I love this school. I know the teachers are working hard. I do just have a concern about X, Y, and Z I wanted to bring to your attention. And then end it with a positive, and then have it really clear with the principal or the teacher or the superintendent exactly what is the thing you want them to do and what is the time frame in which you expect them to do it or to get back with you about it. Make sure you don't just leave and they can just say, oh, I'm so glad they're done. So these are some helpful tools that you can utilize moving forward to make a real difference in our society today. We're having challenges. But with those challenges, God, by his grace, has given us incredible opportunities. Let's take advantage of them. Now, there's an organization called Child Evangelism Fellowship that does a fantastic job worldwide reaching out to children with the gospel. And they're doing an incredible work, particularly in public schools, public elementary schools. Well, to talk about this, we'd like to welcome now from CEF their outreach coordinator, Sharon. Welcome to the show. Sharon, tell me about your personal journey and how you ended up working for Child Evangelism Fellowship.
When my oldest son was 4 3/4, he was in preschool. I was at church one Sunday at Calvary Chapel here in Santa Barbara, and there was a young woman there who was gonna give her testimony about sharing her faith with the Muslim women. And my mom happened to be with us there, so she wanted to go, and I said, "Sure, I'll go with you." So we went to that, listened to her testimony, and at the very end of that, this man gave a little speech about the Good News Club, the Child Evangelism Fellowship. And he was talking about how they were allowed to go into the public schools and share the gospel. And my mom and I both looked at each other and were like, what? Like, how could that be? Like, no way. So, literally, it was that week that I started sending my son to the Good News Club at Foothill School here. And then he was in kindergarten at that time. So he started attending the Good News Club there. And then I really wanted the Good News Club at his school. They didn't have one. So I remember asking about it. They're like, well, we don't have one there, but you can start one. And I'm like, oh, no, absolutely not. I can't direct the Good News Club. And so then he started attending another Good News Club. So I would pick him up from school and then I would take him to this other Good News Club at Vieja Valley School. And then I started volunteering, but I didn't do any teaching at all. All I was just support. I was an adult body there. I would make cookies, I'd bring snacks and just whatever it is the volunteers needed, I would do. And I would just sit there and listen and watch and learn. And then, one day, the director for CEF for Santa Barbara County came to my house. And I don't remember why she came to my home, but she did. And we were here in my house, and then we were sitting on the couch. And then she asked if she could pray. So she started praying for me. And her prayer was that I would equip the church and start a Good News Club and be a director. And and this is so true. So she's sitting there and she's praying for me, and I'm sitting there, and then I open my eyes and I look at her, and in my mind, I'm thinking like, why are you praying for me to start a Good News Club? I'm like, I could never do that. It's like, I don't know the Bible well enough. I'm like, I was scared that like I was afraid that I was going to say something that wasn't true or right, and like lightning was going to come down and strike me. So I was like, there's just no way I could do that. Well, God had other plans, and then I started the Good News Club at my son's school, Roosevelt School. And it was hard at first. We weren't allowed on campus, so we would walk right down the street into this tiny little cottage, and we would meet in this little room. It was like a bedroom, and we had so many kids, and we would just meet in there, and we would learn the word, and we would play and do crafts.
I understand recently there has been a school district that has prevented your clubs from going on their elementary school campuses. What happened?
Okay, so the school board on back in October, they were going to pass an enrichment bundle, and the Santa Barbara Unified School District, they chose who they wanted to be in this enrichment bundle. Well, I wasn't notified, and I became aware of it literally that night. And so I jumped in my car right away and I went over there and I spoke at the board meeting, and I'm like, why didn't you guys include us in this enrichment bundle? And so that was the very first board meeting. Then there was a second board meeting on November 12th, and they were going to that's when they passed this enrichment bundle. We were not included. I think there's 14 or 16 programs that they allowed and passed. We were not included in that. And at that board meeting, a lot of supporters were there in support of the Good News Club. And that board meeting got a little bit heated because the superintendent was saying things that were untrue, that they had contacted us and sent us letters and emails, which was not true. And I just had to speak up and let the board and them know that that's not true. I've done everything that I was supposed to do. I've been doing this for a very long time. I know exactly what we're supposed to do. Um, they actually stopped the board meeting and they pulled me out. They got really upset. They pulled me out and they spoke with me, and they were actually cordial, cordial. The board president was upset. But the board president, the superintendent, and the assistant superintendent pulled me out and they spoke to me. And I was just mentioning to them, like, I've done everything that I'm supposed to do. I said, you've ignored all my email for the last 3 years. You never respond to me. My meetings have been canceled. Um, and I asked them, I said, why can't we be part of this enrichment bundle? I'm like, you're allowing certain programs in there that that have a religious affiliation. Or actually what I said is like, there's this one program that they're allowing, it's called Kind Mind, and it's steeped in Hinduism and Buddhism. And I said, I've done my research and I read about these things. They said, why won't you allow us to be part of the bundle? And the superintendent's response was, she goes, oh, she didn't know what to say. She's like, oh, that gets really complicated. I have to seek legal advice. So she did tell me that she did say that she did tell me, she goes, Sharon, I just want you to know right now you will not be allowed to be part of a bundle. Later on, I had a meeting with the assistant superintendent and principals and my board, and the assistant superintendents told me the same thing. She goes, you will not be part of the enrichment bundle because of the religious affiliation.
Finally, tell us, how can churches, parents, and communities assist CEF in having access to public schools?
Well, they can go to our website to learn more about us, cefsantabarbara.org, and we have everything online, so they can go to our website. And they can also support us by attending local school board meetings, sending emails and letters to superintendents, even letting their principals know at their school that they really want the Good News Club here and they support it, that they'd love to have one here. So, parents, the community, churches, if they could just voice their opinion to the school board and let them know, like, this is a good thing. The Good News Club is a wonderful organization. We need more of them and we support them 100%. So that would be really helpful.
Sharon, thank you so much for being on Faith and Law with us today and for sharing those insights. Well, as you all know, we have a new presidential administration in place, but that doesn't mean that some of our same issues on a wide range of agendas are not still continuing as well. So one of the main issues that came up during the election time and that we have been working through as a nation is school choice and some of the indoctrination that we have seen going on in our public school systems specifically. Now, a lot of what is coming to light, thankfully, through parents, church members, and just concerned leaders in the community getting access to this curriculum, whether that was during 2020, the pandemic, when everyone was on Zoom and we could see what was being taught in the classroom, or through brave souls running for school board positions and gaining access that way. This remains an issue and an important one to talk about. It's still a problem in a number of public schools, and it's a good thing to continue our conversations on how do we move forward from here with a new presidential administration in place and new efforts afoot. What is going on with indoctrination? Well, we know, sadly, that a lot of the curriculum in the public school systems is still inappropriate for children, particularly young children. A number of these books that can be found in libraries in schools across the country talk about things that children should not have access to. And quite often parents aren't able to get access to what those materials are. They're receiving little to no information from their children's homework assignments that are coming home. And really what we're finding is that school systems are keeping this kind of content insulated within the school. So what do we do about it? Well, as churches, as parents, as local communities, we've got to step up and continue to gain that access. A number of resources can be found on PJI's website to address this very thing and to tell you exactly how to run for school board and to find out what's really being taught in your child's school. So please visit pji.org for those amazing resources. They're so helpful and extremely clear and easy to follow. But we need to pray over this, and not just pray, come together as people of faith and as communities to continue to have good men and women run for school board seats. Once you're in there, you've got that access and you can see what's being taught in the classroom. We also need to insulate our students about what they're seeing, what kind of assignments they're being given, what kind of books are in their school libraries, and what to do if they see something that they think might be inappropriate. There are certain books being put into bookshelves in school libraries that are talking about topics I probably can't even speak out loud about right now on this episode. It's not good and it's still happening. So we need to continue to shine the light of day on it. Now, a lot of good other efforts are coming forward in the Trump administration. First and foremost is a really good deep dive on the Department of Education. Now, you might think that the Department of Education sounds fantastic and we should certainly not do away with it. But sadly, it's been corrupted and it's really operating as no more than a pass-through of federal funding, and we're watching our statistics, our grade point averages, our testing scores, our metrics sink to the very bottom of the world. And this is a department of the federal government in which people are working and understanding what kind of curriculum and resources and materials are in schools and either supporting it or not doing anything about it. So I'm encouraged that the new incoming administration is going to be taking a good hard look at the Department of Education to see if it needs to be abolished, if it needs to just be course corrected, cleaned out, and really do what it's supposed to do. Set the standard in every state, not just for our nation, but for the world. We've got to do better for our kids. So please be keeping an eye on that and support those efforts and pray over it too. But additionally, we have got to continue to focus on getting this woke ideology out of our school systems, and that takes everyone. So Trump has just recently stated that he wants to give a school choice credit to families of up to $10,000 as of now. And that means that when we're typically paying taxes for our child's public school in our neighborhood, but we choose to take our child out of a public school system that's teaching gender ideology to 4, 5, and 6-year-olds, having inappropriate books in the library, talking about pronouns of a teacher or anything else that kids are not emotionally, physically, or mentally at an appropriate age to hear about. You can remove your child and have that tax credit available to you to then take them to a private or charter school or to homeschool. And there are great homeschool resources available, of course, at pji.org. But just doing some simple research, as many of us did during the pandemic, there are incredible curricula and really schedules out there available for anyone who's considering homeschooling. And I will tell you firsthand, when I'm on the Hill, when I'm in DC, and I'm working with legislators who are young and smart and sharp, I always ask them if they're homeschooled. And I will tell you, 10 out of 10 times, those ones that I ask will say, why, yes, I was homeschooled. You can see it, you can sense it. Those homeschooled kids are getting a tremendous, phenomenal education, and they're safe from hearing and seeing and experiencing things they shouldn't have to for a very long time. So there are a lot of good efforts afoot. Definitely check out all of these resources and guides and direction on pji.org. And most of all, most importantly, we want to put all of this in front of God and be praying over all of it.
Now, I want to encourage you to act out of boldness and love, not out of fear. It's easy to operate out of fear. In fact, you can be angry and operate out of fear at the same time. What does God's word say? It says in 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 7, it says, "For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind." That is how we're to operate when we're dealing with these challenges that we're facing in our society today as believers. We shouldn't operate out of fear, which can also lead to anger or even rage. No, we want to operate instead out of a spirit of healthy boldness. We don't want to be defensive. We want to be transformative. We're transformative by not operating out of fear, but operating out of what God's word says, which is out of out of power, which is relying on the Lord and His power and His strength, out of love. Our love? No, the love of Christ, knowing the grace that He's given us, and that the people we're dealing with are probably lost, they're probably blind, they need Jesus. So we want to pray for them and operate out of love for them and the situation, as well as for the kids or whoever else is being impacted. And then we also want to use a sound mind. We want to think things through. We want to be logical. We want to get counsel. We want to work things through. So 2 Timothy 1:7, for God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. Now here's some brief action items you might want to take advantage of in the near future. First, attend a school board meeting this month. It's easy. In fact, you don't have to say anything. Just showing up. In fact, the more you show up, the more credibility you will have when you do raise something, when you do bring something to their concern. They'll see you as someone who is a level-headed person who's is a concerned citizen, not someone from the outside who just suddenly comes in and smashes the party and creates havoc, and it goes away. Attending a school board meeting is valuable, and attending the first one, well, that's a good first step. Second, you can host or join a community discussion on the religious rights and education, religious freedom and education. Maybe get some parents over. Maybe download copies of our free book, Reclaim Your School, as I mentioned earlier. Take advantage of that, but help be a facilitator of getting parents together. Maybe it's just you and another parent. Maybe it's 2 others. Whatever. Just take initiative. I know we're busy in our lives today, but if we don't take initiative, who will? Take initiative. Join a group or host a group, community discussion. Number 3 is volunteer with or support organizations advancing faith in the public square. Pacific Justice Institute, that's what we're about. And we love it when people want to volunteer or they choose to support our ministry with a nonprofit tax-deductible donation on a one-time or even a monthly basis is even better. Whatever the case, get involved. Get involved. We at PJI, we have 252 cases right now as I speak in active litigation coast to coast. We have 36 offices, more than any other organization in the country, coast to coast. We do all our work without charge. This is what we're about. And we don't just cherry pick a few high profile cases. Our goal is to make sure that everyone gets help, that no one's left on the side of the road. So pray about it, get involved, and let's make a difference. So folks, we're going to have challenges. But remember, always, always keep the faith.